This time-lapse video will show you how to build your own 8x16 hoop house from scratch. Hello, this is Stephen from Short Season Garden, and I offer tips and tricks for gardening in any climate, but especially for short seasons like here in Zone 3 in Eastern Canada. So give my video a thumbs up and a comment, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and you can check me out on Instagram or Facebook at Short Season Garden. We used two 16-foot pieces of 2x6 pressure treated lumber to form the sides of the base. These we marked every 2 feet for the placement of the hoops. We took a third piece of 2x6 and cut it in half to make the ends. Then we marked where the uprights of our doors were to be. Using 3-inch deck screws, we screwed the base together. We used scabs cut from one of our shorter 10-foot pieces of 2x6 to reinforce the corners. For our hoops, we used two 10-foot sections of 1/2-inch PVC electrical conduit joined together and slid a 20-foot length of 1/2-inch rebar inside for strength. We secured the hoops to the base using 1/2-inch PVC conduit clamps. In preparation for the hoops, we fastened the conduit clamps securely on one side of the base, but on the second side, we only put one screw in each, leaving it loose to turn freely. To secure the end hoop, we had to clip one side of the conduit clamp, leaving it with only one screw hole. To install the hoops, we first slid one end into the side with a securely screwed conduit clamp. Then we bent the hoop and screwed the clamps in place on the second side. The rebar tends to slide out of the end of the conduit. To prevent this, we put a screw into each end of our hoops. It was now time to build the door frames at each end of the hoop house using pressure treated 2x4s. cut short pieces of 3/4 inch PVC conduit in half and use them on top of our door frames to hold the end hoops in place. At this point in our construction, we discovered that the strength of the rebar in the hoops had caused our hoop house to bow out in the center. We used a ratchet strap to tighten the center in, while we pounded short pieces of rebar into the ground to hold the center in place. We used our remaining 16-foot 2x6 as a beam to keep the hoops evenly spaced at the top. We screwed one of our short conduit pieces crossways on the beam under each hoop. Then we used zip ties to secure the conduit to each piece. Just before we got rained out and had to quit for the day, we ripped some 2x4s into thin laths to hold our plastic in place.
You're gonna make your folds down here so your water doesn't pool and your plastic wants to run down. So all your joints need to be, you're gonna have little folds. Bring them in, you know.
After pulling the plastic as tight as possible and securing it along the bottom with a few staples, we used the laths we had sawed from the 2x4s to secure the plastic at each doorway. Tying a figure 8 knot. And that's our end knot for what we're about to do next. So we're just going to tuck this down tight. Put the screw through the wire right here. How you build the sliders. Just like this. You get your plastic down and you put one screw with a washer here. Leave it a little bit. And then we put another screw with a washer here. Take our wire and the one that's hooked, put it underneath the screw and back and around, and I take another screw and I put it right here so the wire
can't get away. You have to tighten it all the way down, just enough to keep the wire from jumping out from behind that washer. And that's this side of the bay done. We're gonna have one cross on the way up.
We kept fastening our clothesline wire on each side of the base and throwing it across the top to be secured on the opposite side. This clothesline wire is very crucial to our design as it keeps the plastic tight so that it can't beat in the wind. Since so much wire is required, we acquired as much pre-used clothesline as possible. As a result, we inevitably had to splice.
Just up through, over, come on, and back in the same side. Alright, so we're just going to leave it like that. And to protect our plastic, we'll do this. We don't want the ends poking holes in our plastic.
Unfortunately, I had misjudged the amount of clothesline required, and we were running out of daylight, so it was time to quit again. We cheated to get by until we would be able to return to the project. Since it would be a little while before our busy schedules would jibe, I decided to cut away some loose plastic from the doorways and finish the clothesline myself. When we were able to get back together, I finished trimming and stapling the plastic around the doorways, and then tucked the excess plastic on the bottom underneath all the way around while Donnie worked on the doors. I then took the 4 remaining pieces of 1/2-inch PVC conduit and zip tied it along the ceiling of the hoop house, either side of the beam, so I could attach the strings for my tomato vines. While I was working inside the hoop house, Donnie was busy measuring out the doors, which he was building from 2x4s ripped in two.
Whole dimensions in the building are 30 wide by 80. You have to make the door a little bit smaller so it can swing out. So these are 29, 13/16, because we're over 3/8, 13/16. So 29, 13/16, and these are going to be 79 3/4 high.
Donnie's door design involved using a pocket hole jig so that the screws are inset neatly into the door. Later in the video, Donnie demonstrates a less fancy jig which will accomplish the same task. I will provide Amazon links to both in the description below. made the door a little too wide, so we had to rip it for width on the table saw to allow it to open and close smoothly. To hold the plastic in place on our door, we used lumber strapping that was being discarded from our local hardware store. While Donnie put the hinges on the door, I assembled one of the two automatic vents that I had purchased on Amazon.
Set the center and then adjust your open and closing as per required. I will say that the wind will be hard pressed to pull that apart.
The disadvantage of having an automatically vented door is that you must physically unfasten the vent if you want to use the door as an entrance or exit. We needed to be able to open our main door, so we had to design a window that would vent. This made the process a little more time consuming. This pocket hole jig is not quite as convenient to use as the other, but it accomplishes the same task. So basically we were building a door within a door, and as you can see, it took a bit of time to get it working right. These automatic vents can seem daunting to assemble, but there are many YouTube videos out there that can help, and they really do work well. We initially installed ours wrong and discovered that our window wouldn't close properly. Once we moved the hinges to the top and put the closure in the middle, it works like a dream. I hope you enjoy the video as much as I enjoy the hoop house. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, check out the full materials list in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video.